And good morning, good morning or good afternoon, everybody, depending on where you are in the country. Before I start, let me just say thank you for joining us today. I understand and that the gratitude and appreciation is said a lot in this events, but really, as partners, without you, small and large businesses, we in USACE would not be successful in our mission, which is delivering vital public and military engineering services, partnering in peace and war to strengthen our nation's security, energize the economy, and reduce the risks from disasters. So that said, my name is John Solomon. I am the Deputy for Small Business Program at Seattle District. Next slide, please. So the agenda is as follows, pretty much a brief overview of Seattle District, major mission areas, past programs. We're gonna talk a little bit about the COVID actions that we've done back in March, current contract needs / opportunities, and then there's a disclosure on existing IDIQs and upcoming opportunities. And then we'll go over the small business goal for fiscal year 2020, and then provide you with some point of contacts within Seattle District. Next slide, please. So our district is considered a full service district, similar to the previous presenters, Kansas City, Omaha. So let me just get into detail here as far as those specific programs that we have within a full service district, so bear with me. So the military program, we do design and build projects for the Army, Air Force, Army Reserves, installation services to include Joint Base Lewis McChord, Fairchild Air Force Base, Yakima Training Center, Umatilla Chemical Depot in Washington, Mountain Home Air Force Base, Idaho, and Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana. So that's our military program. As far as our civil works program, as you can see the metrics there, is 40% of our actions. And you see there, our program for FY21 was around 626 million, but really for contract obligation, we averaged around 484 million for fiscal year 21. So the civil works program, the boundaries encompasses over 99,000 square miles, including 4,700 miles of shoreline. The boundaries stretch from the western Montana to northern Idaho and much of Washington state, including the Columbia River system. The primary mission areas for the civil works program are navigation, flood risk management, ecosystem restoration, emergency operations, and recreation. So if you're a firm that, I'm speaking a little bit of a complex, or to some degree, some very detailed lingo here. So if you're in that realm of ecosystem restoration or emergency operations, then you're the type of firms that we definitely look for as far as doing business with Seattle District. Environmental and IIS program. So IIS stands for Interagency International Services. So that's part of our overall mission relative to environmental services. We work in restoring degraded ecosystem, constructing sustainable facilities, regulating waterways, managing natural resources, and clean up contaminated sites from past military activities. Some examples, next slide, please. So some examples of ongoing projects with the environmental side is the Chittenden Locks facilities, which includes a fish ladder that passes adult salmon and steelhead upstream and juvenile fish downstream. The locks also have a surface collection, smolt fumes that passes salmon and steelhead smolt downstream. Efforts at optimizing fish passage. So if you're in a realm of business that assists with fish passage work, then again, you're the type of firms that we're looking for to help survival of juvenile fish, to reduce the vulnerability of adult fish, and ongoing. We have a project out in Mud Mountain Dam right now with adult salmons and other fish that move upstream using a fish trap and haul system. And we also have improved downstream passage through the dam itself. In Montana and Idaho, we are working to restore endangered Kotane River white sturgeons on the Pendle O'Reilly, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing these terms here, and the Pendle O'Reilly Lake in Idaho. We are looking at movement of bull trout to determine possible need for passage at Albany Falls Dam. We are also We've also been operating at Albany Falls Dam to provide winter pool levels that benefit Kotani spawning access around the Lake Penn Orelli shoreline. So just giving you some overview of the districts, again, environmental services that we work within our area of responsibility. IAS program, we do engineering and construction services, environmental restorations and management services, research and development assistance, management of water and land related natural resources, relief and recovery work, energy conservation work, and other management and technical services. So some examples of customers that we deal with as far as the IIS program includes the National Park Services, the Department of Homeland Security, Customs and Border Patrol, Border Protection, Fish and Wildlife Services, Forest Services, the Bonneville Power Administration, which my counterparts from Walla Walla and Portland will be covering as well, Bureau of Land Management, Natural Resource Conservation Services, National Guard, Veterans Administration, Department of Defense, and state and local government. So within our IS program, this includes the other districts as well. You know, we are a working capital agency, which means that our funding comes from our customers, i.e. the agencies that I just mentioned. And so if you come to us and say, hey, you know, do you do construction projects for hospitals? Why, yes, we do, because we partner with the VA to do most of their large value construction projects. And so you would be a firm that we would definitely be interested in finding out more about your capabilities. So here within this slide, again, I think I went a little bit in advance here, but a summary of some additional stuff that we do within the district as far as hydropower, real estate, and emergency management. And one thing I forgot to mention from the previous slide is we work closely with tribal and cultural coordinations within the state. I believe there's about 52 tribal entities within the state of Washington and within our area of responsibility. So we work closely with them, especially in areas where we have dams or, you know, anything that's relative to waterways. We work closely with those tribes and try to, you know, figure solutions for them and for the economy that they're in. Next slide, please. So just getting into some overview of program dollars here. As you can see, our year average program, which encompasses contracting opportunities and in-house services, is around 400 million per year. So that's about the average that we have in our program. But we expect our program to go even higher based on various factors such as the economy of scale, just projects getting more complex as over the years and overall demand goes up. And what I mean by that, you know, is our customers, again, like I said, we are a working capital agency. Our customers would, instead of piecemealing some of our contracts out, like, you know, we'll do AE for this portion and separate contract for this design build project, or they want to do it in phases. Now we're seeing a trend where customers are going, here is a lump sum of money. We want you to get this contract awarded by this time frame, and you know it's up to us to deliver that. So as a result of that, we're upping up our contract requirements. We're upping up our bonding capacity, and so that you know we see a trend in that over the years, and just be mindful of that from the industry standpoint. Another thing to point out on this slide is that our military program tends to fluctuate depending on you know, the year, depending on the executive office. As you can see, from 2012 to 2017, we had a surge in military construction projects. Then in 2018 to 2019, it simply went down. I apologize. Let me just close my window because the dump truck is right out my window. Pretty perfect timing there. And then we're projected a higher trend as far as military programs concerned in the next few years. And so again, for those who are in the design build bid construction firms, we definitely want to see you guys as far as your experience on past projects within installation. As I said, we have Joint Base Lewis McChord is one of the largest installation, which is combined with Air Force. One of the largest installations in the West Coast area, and I think overall in the nation. And so definitely a lot more MILCON projects that are coming through in the next fiscal year. Civil works is pretty much a stay constant requirement for us. As you can see, from FY20 is around 228 million, and then 251 million for fiscal year 21 is our projection. Um, Next slide, please. And here's some more of our generally anticipated requirements that's coming out for fiscal year 21. Increase in geotechnical, HTRW, survey and mapping services relative to AE. And for construction, our dredging, we definitely need more small business within our local area. We would like to see more socioeconomic small business on this types of services. Also not listed here, we're looking at the PFOS, PFOA testing and remediation services. So again, if you fall within that category, please shoot me an email with your capabilities so that way I have you guys on our vendors list. Next slide, please. So COVID response here, back in March, and I'm gonna be quick here because I have 2 minutes, I'm already getting pinged. Back in March, we had a surge here in Washington State, and so Corps of Engineers was tasked to do an emergency response to assess medical facilities within the local area. Fortunately, the outcome was, we didn't have a whole lot of infection rates here in Washington State, and the state was able to manage that, and we were not able to, and we were fortunate enough not to actually mobilize our personnel. So we did some assessment, but right now we're not, we're not in considering establishing those temporary hospitals. So right now, for now, we don't have any taskers for COVID-related actions. But however, next slide, please. I do want to emphasize that if you are, if you have PPEs or you do modular facilities for temporary hospitals or do cleaning services, sanitation, decontamination, etc., definitely look at our headquarters website to make sure you register and put your name in that information, because once that thing comes down again, where we get tasked with those emergency requirements, we will rely on this information for our market research. So if you want more information, please feel free to reach out to me. Next slide, please. And again, some of this has been mentioned earlier as far as with PTAC and my previous predecessors, but we do have our small business website that you can go into. Each district has its own website, as Chris mentioned. Here's my point of contact, and then PTAC, a very, very good a resource to go to, especially if you've never done business with federal government. So I encourage you guys to go to them first. Next slide, please. Contracting opportunities. I'm not going to go into details on this because you guys will be provided this slide, but this is some of the things that's going to be coming down the pipeline for FY21, Q1, all the way to Q4. As you can see, most of the AE services are going to be coming out this quarter, so just keep an eye out if you are an AE firm and are interested in those types of services. Keep an eye out at beta.sam.gov or feel free to reach out to me for further questions. Next slide, please. Construction opportunities, the same ordeal. We have a bunch of them coming up, especially the MATOCs and SATOCs. Next slide. Similar thing, next slide. And next slide. And this is, we have one environmental contract right now that we're contemplating. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so here's I know there was a question there about where can we find the IDIQ contracts that we currently have within the agency. You can reach out to me or some of the small business specialists within the agency, but I'm providing you with what we have in Seattle District, so that way for subcontracting opportunities or just doing your own research to know when the next contract will be in place. This is a good information right here that you could use and find out who are the current awardees and possibly reach out to them and to inquire further. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. All right, small business programs. So for FY19, as you can see, we are struggling with SDVOSB, Women-Owned, and HubZone. There was an outreach event that I attended a couple of weeks ago that asked the question, why are we not doing SDVOSB or Women-Owned set aside? Well, the reason for that is that we are not getting potentially capable firms responding to the sources sought. And what I mean by potentially capable firms is when we do those sources sought and we say you must have demonstrated 5 years of experience, the firm comes back with 3 years of experience, right? And so then we have to put that in the, not demonstrating potential capable firm category. We then make that assessment and go, we don't have enough SDVOSB firms or women-owned small business firms to do a set aside, right? And so uh, we want to advocate for those specific set asides. So I encourage you, if you're an SDVOSB woman-owned or hub zone, to please respond to the sources sought. If you feel your firm may not have that capability, we have programs out there like teaming arrangements or partnering that you can look into to see if that could be a good avenue for your business to actually get a contract with our district. So just, again, reach out to PTAC. They could provide that more information on that, on how to strategize your business operation and your business plan in pursuing contracts with us. Next slide. And this is our point of contact here in Seattle. The chief of contracting is Dave Williams. Joanne Walls is the technical representative for the district. And again, recommend you reach out to me first before you reach out to those two individuals, as I am your representative as far as providing those informations that you may have for the districts that are not covered here in this slide. So again, I apologize if I went through rather quickly on this. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call or shoot me an email.